Welcome to the Living Ageless and Bold podcast. Each episode, I bring you amazing women who inspire, educate, and share their experiences and journeys along the way. So grab a glass of wine or a cup of coffee, find a cozy spot, and let's relax and have some fun hearing what can be accomplished after 55. Okay, you guys, I'm so excited about today's guest. I know I say this every time, but this is so fun for me. Our guest today, I know her as Lauren Barkley. She's now Lauren Jacobs. She is my Chi Omega sorority sister from Virginia Tech, who has really lived the epitome of living ageless and bold. And I'm so excited to share her journey with you and just for everyone listening and watching to see what's possible. So thanks, Lauren.
Thank you for having me. I've been so excited to see how gorgeous you are in, person. After 25 years, you look the same. Talking about living ageless.
And thank you for social media for reconnecting us. And I don't want to get to what just recently happened to you because it is a journey that takes you there. And so many people who listen and watch, are following this, and they might be a few years behind us or few years ahead of us, and just to be inspired. So way back when, I won't say the date, we graduated from Virginia Tech, and you started what all of us do. You got your first job. So talk a little bit about, what you did, how this path for you started.
Sure. So when I was graduated from college, I had no idea what I wanted to do, like most of us, right?
Most of us.
So I went into clothing and textiles, worked in retail for a while, was living still in Virginia. And then I ended up moving back to Kentucky, where I was from, decided that I wanted to get married, have children, never wanted to work again. That was the plan, Christina, right? I told my husband, I'm done with that work. I'm just going to raise kids. He said, okay. And that lasted about a year.
But there's nothing wrong with that. This is always a no judging zone. So it doesn't matter if you worked, if you didn't work, you stay home with kids, that is a job.
Yeah, that was was harder when I worked, but I wanted to do that. And, that's the way that I was brought up. So that was important to me. Well, that lasted for about a year. And then I thought, I need to do something. I need to do something for myself. And so I started as a sales rep for Southern Living at Home. I don't know if you ever went to one of those parties.
I did. I actually almost sold it myself. So, and just because I don't know how many of these home party things there still are, but that was big when we were late 20s, early 30s. And it was a great avenue for stay-at-home moms where you could have this great business selling stuff at parties. So you got to see your girlfriends, have parties. And I almost did Southern Living and ended up opening a retail store instead because my girlfriend talked me out of Southern Living to open details.
Oh, that's cool.
But similar, it's home decor. So you did that 10 years. That's a long time. And you got in pretty early, I'm sure.
I did. I was one of the first people, and I loved the free trips. That's what it was for me, Christina. I'm I'm the carrot dangler. You dangle a carrot in front of me and I will do what I need to do to be able to get that. Oh, and I never knew that about myself. I have this very competitive spirit within myself against myself. And I also realized through this process that I was very entrepreneurial. And then as my kids got older, my oldest son has very severe dyslexia. And so I homeschooled him for a little while. I'll have to tell you that story. That's another great story because he's doing fantastic. He's in college and things have really worked out. But at the time, it was hard. It was very hard.
And I'm sure. And back then, when we had our kids, the young women, and we do have a lot of young women listening. So when you all have kids, if you have kids with dyslexia, autism, they need the IEPs at school. I know my nephew has one. It's very commonplace now. But when our kids were younger, there was mainstream school, and that was it. There was no help for kids who needed help.
That's exactly right. And so I took Caleb out of school, homeschooled him for a while, decided I wanted to send him back to school. And I took a little job at the school in the office because I didn't care how much I made. I didn't care anything about any of that. I just wanted to be where he was. But during this time, I found cookie decorating. It was when cookie decorating was becoming big on Instagram, and I've always been very creative. And so I was looking and I thought, that might be kind of fun. So I took a class, and the next thing I end up on the Food Network. So
well, hold on. We're not going there yet. We are not going there yet. So, right. So you take these classes because you don't go from, oh, I'm going to take a cookie decorating class to, oh, I'm going to be on the Food Network. So there's a process.
Yes.
And I really want you to share it because one of my best girlfriends, Anna, is in corporate America, and she's like you, super creative, really artsy. And she's always talked about starting a cookie business.
Okay.
And her daughter just got engaged, and she couldn't find anywhere to make diamond ring cookies for the engagement party. She looked within 100-mile radius, there's no bakers. They're all booked. So I said to her, Anna, if this is not a sign for you that you need to start this business right now, there's obviously demand. You're good at it. So I'm like, go make these cookies. And she said she walked into Michael's, and literally at the end cap was the diamond ring cutter. So she's like, that's fine. Yes, so she did it. But it's not, I love everything that you're doing, but talk about how you built your cookie business, because it didn't just happen overnight.
Yeah, yes. So what happened was I thought this might be fun, learning to decorate cookies. And for me, I found it to be a great stress reliever, because if you have a child who struggles, it's very sad and very stressful on the child and on the parent. And for me, it was very hard because he was very sad. And we tried getting him help in every avenue that we could. But like you said, there wasn't as much help back then as there is now. So I found cookie decorating to be very therapeutic. And I continued cookie decorating. And then one day, my husband almost died. His appendix burst, and he was in the hospital.
Literally. I thought you were going to tell a funny story. Oh, dear gosh.
Literally.
I'm sorry, Lauren. Okay.
His appendix burst. It was misdiagnosed, and he was extremely sick. And when you go through something like that, it makes you think, am I really doing what I want to be doing with my life? And I was I was inching closer to 50. And I thought, I want to be home more. My kids were no longer going to the same school because they wanted to play sports. And so they went to a different school. And because I don't even remember if I said, after we homeschooled, I sent him to a Christian school where he could learn Latin, which helps kids who struggle with reading. And that's when I became this little art teacher, and when I started decorating cookies. After I worked in the office, they needed an art teacher, and I thought, hey, I can do that. I'm artistic. And so
did you have any training in art? Because I've seen your cookies and want to tell everybody where to find them. You are incredible at it. But
thank you.
Did you ever do anything, or it just kind of evolved?
I doodled, Christina.
Okay.
I doodled, when I was young at Virginia Tech. Every class that I took, the extra class was an art class. So I was I think 3 credits away from having an art minor. I don't feel like I'm a super talented artist, but I am very creative. So I enjoyed doing these cookies. And so after that happened with my husband, and I thought, I'd like to be home more. Maybe I could turn this into a job. So I started for about a year. I made cookies and sold them, and I worked my little art teacher job. And I figured out, how can I quit this art teacher job? Because although I'm very blessed, my husband has a great job, I liked contributing, and I wanted to continue to do that. And so I made a plan, and I figured out what I needed to do to replace my income. And I knew that I didn't want to make as many cookies as I would need to make, because at that time I was
going to say, how many cookies do you have to make it? That's a lot. I know how these cookies sell. I've bought them for graduation party. Even at $3 a cookie, you got to make a lot of cookies, and you still have to buy the ingredients. And what is your time worth?
Yes. So I didn't want to do that. And I thought, okay, I can teach classes. I was already teaching art classes. I love
alone.
people. I thought maybe I could teach classes. So I made this little quote unquote business plan because I'm the artistic type and decided, okay, I can do this. I can do this. And I just made the leap of faith and went in and retired, which meant
Right.
I was no longer going to work for someone else. I was just going to work for myself. And so I started teaching cookie classes at a winery in my town. And that was so much fun.
So
And
wait, so how do you do that? It's so fun. Like I want somebody here in Virginia to do this. So you just go with your cookie shapes and then everybody decorates their cookie?
yes, so I
I know.
go in, I buy everybody a glass of wine. I take the cookies, I take the icing. We talk, we laugh, we drink wine. We just have a good old time.
Okay, I'm in. You need to franchise that idea. That's fantastic.
That's you know what? That's a good idea.
Yeah.
But so
Yes, Miss
I
Cheerful Baker,
yes, so
cookie
I love
decorating
that.
class.
I loved doing that. And then during the pandemic, I got very into learning more about Instagram because Instagram was becoming the big
Yeah.
thing. So I took some Instagram classes, which taught me about making videos. And it's so interesting, Christina, because I listened to one of your podcasts and your guest said, I always love to tell people how old I am because my
Yeah.
years, it's all that knowledge that I
Yeah.
have. And I thought that is very true about me because all the jobs that I've had led up to what I started doing at that time. When I was the art teacher, I learned how to do marketing because that was part of the job that I
Yeah.
had because I worked in the office as well and I had to market all of the events. When I did Southern Living at Home, I learned sales. So all the little things I had done gave me the ability to do this business that I started.
And I just want to tell for everybody listening, because we do have a lot of younger people, that's so important to know that everything kind of piggybacks on everything. And I teach classes at Virginia Tech, careers in marketing, once a semester. And when they hear that I graduated with the double major in political science and German, and I do PR and I'm on TV and I have a podcast, they're like, wait, what? I'm like, you guys, it's a piece of paper for a month. Get that first job and then it doesn't matter. You were in textiles and you're now in cookies. Like, I guess you
Right.
can say there's some affiliation, but it's so important to know that you can do anything. And that's why we have
Yes,
this podcast. At 50, you can change your mind. So okay.
absolutely.
So I
Yes.
didn't mean to interrupt, but it's so I love to tell my little lessons along the way.
Oh no, I mean I totally agree with you because I think when you're young, you think 50's old, right? And you think I have to decide what I want to do for the rest of my life right now because our children are pretty much the same age and sometimes they're stressed. They think, what do I have to do? And I
Gosh,
said,
I know.
just do whatever you want. It's going to work out. I
Right.
started doing what I love. I love doing this more than I've ever loved anything more.
Love
And I'm
that.
55. So anything is possible. But while I was doing Instagram, because, there were a lot of young people
Yeah.
on Instagram, Christina, and I thought I need to learn how to do this if I want to be relevant.
Right. It's so
um,
true.
somebody found me. I had posted some cookies and someone contacted me through Instagram had messaged me and said, have you ever thought, would you be interested in talking to us about being on the Food Network? And I laughed. I'm like, yeah, sure. Ha ha ha. Because I didn't think that it was real because when I investigated the account that this came from, it didn't look like the kind of account that I would have assumed a message
Right.
would have come from. And so, because they hire these people to go out and search for people,
Yeah.
and that's who had contacted me. So I said, sure, I'll talk to you. Why not? So the next day, she called me and I was in the car and I was laughing, because I thought, I just didn't think, I wasn't taking it very serious. And by the end of the conversation, she said, you know what, Lauren? She said, you're a lot of fun. She said, I'm going to send your name into the Food Network executives. And I said, okay. Well, a couple hours later, I had this very professional, very serious email. And I thought, okay, let's go.
That's so awesome. And it's so, And for my other world, like the PR strategist side, for TV, that personality is so important. And that's you. Like you're exactly as I remember you from that year we're not going to talk about.
Yeah.
Uh, but that's so important. So just being you and being authentic Lauren got you this opportunity, which was so cool. So it's such a fun, like, and I know the story, like my first trip to the Steve Harvey show, it's just so exciting. So tell us how it unraveled and how you got there.
It was an incredible experience. It really was. So
Yeah.
I had to do a lot of different interviews. I had to let them know that I knew what I was doing. And so I had to create cookies, create 3D structures. And again, it was so neat, Christina, because all of the things that I had done in the past prepared me for this experience, which was really neat. Like I had made lollipops, so I knew what to do with the secret ingredient. I had made 3D structures because I entered a gingerbread competition in my town. So all those little things, I knew. I was the oldest one there. They were all at least 20 years younger than me. And they said, "Hey, you're so calm, Lauren. How are you so calm?" And I said, "Well, I have a lot of experience," which comes with age, right?
Right. Because I'm 20 years older than you.
Yes.
That's why.
So I got there and I remember walking into the studio, and you probably remember this because you're on TV, but the first time you walk into that studio and you're like, "Oh, this is absolutely incredible." So
Where is the Food Network studio?
It was in
New York?
Tennessee. And so I actually got to drive there, which was great. But it was a wonderful experience. Would I do it again? I don't know. It was tiring and it was a little stressful. But
tell us what your categories were. You said lollipop. You said, so what is it, like 3 and done, like most of the cooking shows are, or how did that work?
Well, it was really neat. So we had to they gave us a surprise theme. And so we had to create cookies within 90 minutes, 2 cookies within 90 minutes for the theme. And mine was a prehistoric Christmas. So I moved through life fast. So, it was no problem for me to go fast. But then you have to stand up in front of the judges and they tell you whether you make it. And I didn't think that I made it. And this is the funniest story of all. Ree Drummond was one of the hosts, and she is.
I love her. That's Pioneer Woman.
Yes.
So people, if you don't know her name, she's the Pioneer Woman. She started basically the online or the television food, being a food celebrity, basically. She's amazing.
She is. And then Eddie Jackson was the other celebrity host who was a pro football player. So cool. So you have to stand in front of them and you're hoping you make it to the second round. And I didn't think I'd made it to the second round. In fact, I was convinced I didn't make it because there was a macaron artist there who was unbelievable. And I thought, this was a fun experience, but I'm going home. So when they announced that I made it to the second round, I said, yes. Yeah. I just couldn't help it. I mean, it just bubbled up inside of me. I was so happy. And Ree got upset with me. She said, "Lauren, we've never had someone do this on this show," because she thought I was being unkind.
Oh.
And I felt terrible. And I said, "Listen, I will love on them later, but for right now, I'm really excited." So Eddie, who's an athlete, came up and fist bumped me. He's like, "That's a great attitude." Now, by the end of the show, I think she realized I was a nice person, but
right. Well, they do that on the other shows. You should be allowed to speak your voice and be excited if you're excited. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
I was very excited. So then for round 2, I had to make a 3D structure. And so they give you a secret ingredient, and the secret ingredient was soda pop. And so I thought a lot of people would think, well, what do I do with that? How do I incorporate that into cookies or cookie dough? Well, because I had made lollipops, I knew to boil it down and put it on the stove, and then I could put it in my cookie dough. So, all that experience that I'd had in the past was to my benefit, which was great.
And I know it was a Christmas cookie bake-off. Was it money at the end or what? Or was it just for fun?
$10,000. And it was, Christine, it was between me and one other girl. and
Oh,
the other girl got it. But here's the way I feel about it. And I really feel this way. I mean, of course, I was a little bit disappointed, but then I thought, I'm very blessed, and $10,000 would not make a difference in my life, which I'm very thankful for, but it made a huge difference in hers. And so
more.
I'm happy that I truly am happy that she won, because she's
That's
young and this
awesome.
money enabled her to get her start.
That's great. Do you keep in touch with her?
Yes, yes. We're in a group
Oh,
together. So that's fun. But
I
even
love
though I
that.
didn't win, it significantly helped my business.
You now have the Food Network stamp on everything you do, which
Right.
is,
That's
this
right.
is from the PR piece. I know exactly what that is. If somebody goes on your website and sees Food Network, you instantly elevated your credibility. So that's amazing.
It
So cool.
is. It is. And so right before I went on to the Food Network, like I'd mentioned, I'm very entrepreneurial. And I thought, how can I leverage this national publicity that I'm lucky really enough to have for my business? And so I thought, maybe I'll start a cookie cutter subscription box,
Just
because
brilliant. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant.
thank you. Because my hope was, when people watch me on the Food Network, they would think, hey, she's a lot of fun. She knows what she's doing. She knows how to decorate cookies. Maybe I would like to take a class from her. And so we bought a whole bunch of 3D printers. I'm one of those people, Christina. I just do things. I do things, and then afterwards I figure out how to make them better.
Yeah, I
And
hear
so
you, girl. I think there's a reason we were sorority sisters back
that's right.
then.
So we bought a bunch of 3D printers, and I talked to someone about a subscription box, found out how to do it, created a set, filmed the class, put it out in the world.
Love it.
And the first month I had, I think, 17 or something like that subscribers. I was like, yes. Then the second month
Proof
I
of
got it.
concept is what I call that. All you
Yes.
need is one person to buy, and you're like, okay, somebody likes my idea.
Right. And then the second month, I think I got up to 50 some. And then by the third month, I was over 100, which was,
Amazing.
it was. But the most amazing thing about it is, I told you about my son and having dyslexia and all the struggles. Well, he decided that he wanted to go to college. And so the first month that I had over 100 subscribers, I made enough money to pay his first college tuition. Whoa. And I cannot tell you, I was prouder of, I mean, just talking about it always makes me cry. I was prouder of that than anything I've ever done, because I put my mind to doing something and I did it, and it benefited somebody that I love more than life itself.
And that's so amazing. And that's been the theme on this podcast is when you're over 50 or you're close to 50 and you come up with this second chapter, whatever that is, every woman I've talked to, it's with intention and it's with purpose and it's for a bigger cause.
Right.
For you to be able to be an entrepreneur, fill your soul with that, but then to be able to do that for your son is, I know I can just feel it and I can hear it in your voice. It's just incredible. It's just amazing.
It is. So now we have, like, I don't know if you can see it, but it's kind of off frame, but I have the United States map, and there's only 3 states where we don't have people that receive our box.
So okay, wait, what are the 3? So whoever's listening, you've got to sign up. Okay.
Wyoming.
All right.
Montana. There's 4. Wyoming, right. Montana, Utah, North Dakota.
Okay, and I just got a new client in Wyoming and Montana, so let's see what we can do about that.
People love cookies in every state, right? Not just in the South.
No, and it's the cheerfulbaker.com. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes, you can go to cheerfulbaker.com or cheerfulcutters.com. That's my cookie cutter site, but you can get both information. They're interchangeable.
And you should, because you're, like I said, you guys, when you go to her website, it's unbelievable. But so what do you do? YouTube videos. So I sign up and then I sit with you. You're on the video and I get to decorate the cookies.
Yes. So if you Christina, if you receive a box, what you would do is you get all the cookie cutters, you get a recipe, you get two recipes, one for royal icing, one for cookie dough, and then you get clip art, and then you can watch me on video and I show you step by step how to
How did you?
decorate every cookie in the box. So it's great for kids. Here's my commercial. It's great for kids, it's great for moms, it's great for anybody that just wants to have a little bit of creativity fun.
Well, and I keep thinking when my daughter was in college, she went to Virginia Tech too and has been out a year, but her roommates, they loved doing like stuff like this. They didn't do cookie decorating, but they would have loved it. Had I known, I would have sent them some boxes. But that is such a fun, girlfriend gift or sorority gift or fraternity gift. Boys might like decorating cookies too.
That's right.
Not picking sides here. And how fun, like you could do sports theme in the fall, do like football theme and
yes. And I've done some classes at some sororities at the University of Kentucky, which is really fun because those girls, I did a class last year and there were 55 sorority girls and we had the best time, and I totally embarrassed myself with some of the things that we said, but they had fun and they laughed. And I thought, I cannot believe that I get to make money doing something that is so much fun, because I've always had this within me. And I think when you finally realize maybe I should focus on doing something that God has gifted me the ability with and that I love, instead of thinking I need to make money. When I truly believe that when you are living within your gift, the happiness and the money comes.
They do, but you know how it is. You like we talked about, you graduate from college, you get your job, you get married, you have kids, you want to contribute to the family, and there's all that pressure. And then, I mean, you said it, your son's in college. I'm not sure how old your younger one is, but it has to be close, high school,
17.
College. Okay, so you're kind of done at this point where you've checked your boxes that you did for your family. And now it's okay to say, hey, what am I going to do? Like what?
Yes.
Like I'm an empty nester now. I never in a million years would have guessed I would do this podcast. Never. And it brings me so much joy. And I'm having so much fun meeting these incredible women. And you're doing a podcast too. Let's talk about that.
I am. So one of the things that I love is teaching women how to find their entrepreneur within. And a lot of people are just fearful to get started. And so I created a podcast. It's called Sugar Coated Dreams. And my hope, I interview bakers or people in the baking community, artists, cookie artists, cake artists, macaron artists. And I hear their stories because, like you, the thing that I love is hearing people's stories, how they got started, the struggles that they went through, and where they are now. And I thought if someone could listen to that and hear themselves in one of the stories, maybe they'll have the confidence to start something on their own. And although being an entrepreneur is hard, it's a lot of work, it's the best thing ever. You don't have to ask for time off. You have the pride of it being your own thing. You know, your success and your failures are your own. And most importantly, my kids have learned a lot from seeing my journey.
I love that.
They've learned how to pick themselves up because it's not always easy. They've learned how to work hard. They've learned about marketing and sales and how to run a business. And family to me is still the most important thing. And so being able to pay for my son's college and being able to give an example to my kids is what this is all about. And in my podcast, hopefully will give other people the same dream and want to do something about it.
I love it. I love it. And especially we talk about this in some of the other episodes. Oh, you know, a lot of women are kind of getting pushed out of corporate at 50. And it's hard to get a job. Like the big joke with my husband has always been, if this entrepreneurial gig doesn't work out, like I can get a job. I'm qualified. I'll be fine. Well, now I'm 56. I'm like, I don't know about that, but I'll figure something out. Now I'm at that stage. Like, it's okay. I'll figure something out.
Right.
But we do, a lot of women, a lot of my friends, that's kind of going to be your next option. And that's so great. We've brought a lot of people on the podcast that have resources for women who are starting that entrepreneurial journey, maybe a little bit later in life. And
Right.
It's confidence, it's learning tools and skills, but it's so doable. And now with the internet and access, and
Yes.
we can do anything we want to do.
Yes, we can.
I love it. So we always wrap up the podcast with the same 2 questions. What is your greatest accomplishment since you've turned 50?
Being on the Food Network.
Wow. I love it. Let me ask you, you said you weren't sure if you do the Food Network again. Do you have bigger aspirations for maybe your own cookie decorating show or anything like that?
If any of your listeners want to give me a cookie decorating show, Christina, I'm a lot of fun. No, I really don't. I'd go day by day. I'm really happy with the way things are going right now. If I can pay for both of my kids to go through college, life is good.
I love it. And then where do you see yourself in 10 years?
I've thought a lot about this today because I knew you were going to ask me that question. And I see myself slowing down in 10 years. I see myself appreciating the fruits of my hard work now. I love to travel. I want to travel. Maybe my kids are listening. I want to be playing with some grandchildren.
Oh, I got in trouble. I talked about that in one of my early episodes. We can't talk about that anymore.
I know, I heard that. But I do. I want to be slowing down, but I also want to be looking back and be proud of what I've accomplished.
Well, you should be. So amazing. Tell everybody one more time where to find your cookie subscription box.
Cheerfulcutters.com.
Oh, so brilliant. So great to see you, Lauren. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.